Good evening. My name is Srikrishna Ayyangar. I am a faculty member at the National School of India University. I'm also the chair of the public policy program. I'm joined by two of my colleagues, Dr. Devyani Pande, who's also the vice chair of the public policy program, and Dr. Meenakshi Ramkumar, who's part of the faculty at the National Law School. We thought we would give you a brief overview of public policy as a let's say as a discipline, as a profession, and then talk about how NLSIU is distinctive and and what we have to offer. And then I'll cover that part, and then Dr. Devyani Pande will cover essentially the details of the program. We expect our presentation to not be more than 15 to 20 minutes at the most, and then we'll follow that up with question and answers. Again, welcome again. And Devyani, can you move to the next slide? So you know that the NLSIU over the past 30 years has been at the forefront of legal education, and not more recently, but because of these rankings, we're ranked as #1 in the National Law School. The program, the Masters in Public Policy itself, is also actually one of the the first or the top second search. When you do a Google search, I believe it shows up. And we have been running this program for the past 10 years. We are now have a new and a revised curriculum associated with public policy. But before we get into the details of the program, I thought I'll walk you through a little bit about the public policy as a career and where are the jobs, which I'm sure many of you are sort of interested to know. So we've collected me and Dr. Devyani have collected a database of around 800 jobs. This is yet to be published. It's ongoing research. But we noticed that, the bulk of the jobs are essentially either in Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, and Hyderabad. Together, they constitute around most 2/3 of the jobs in these three cities. We also noticed that the types of jobs, there is a substantial chunk, of course, in not-profit, which is around 25%. There is another 25% in for-profit, which you can call in the corporate and in the consulting sort of space. And there's a final 15 to 20% in research and in the government. Broadly, public policies essentially has three types: in the non-profit, profit, and in government and in research institutions. What kinds of skills are required? Devyani, would you like to talk about it a little bit, if you wish? And you're muted.
So from our data set, when we were trying to look at all these vacancies for public policy posted on LinkedIn and on Google, what we find is that there is a section on responsibilities, and then there is a section on requirements for the job. So when we sort of went on to analyze what are the responsibilities that are usually listed in these vacancies, what we found was that there were keywords like managing, assisting, developing, working in teams, writing reports, engaging, collaborating with people, building relationships, monitoring data, leading teams, etc. So these sort of become the key responsibilities. So apart from like your technical analysis, managerial responsibilities are also very important for policy jobs. Attending meetings, organizing stakeholder consultations, etc. So that's the bit about what are the responsibilities that are listed in policy jobs. So these are the results of something called topic modeling that we undertook to analyze qualitative data. And each of these bar graphs gives us, the co-occurrence or frequency of words, which is how we sort of boil down to what are the main topics surrounding public policy jobs. So that's the bit about responsibilities. When we come to requirements, we see that requirements like communication, interpersonal skills, writing, proficiency in data handling, data cleaning, data management, programs like Stata, Excel, Microsoft Word, etc. Very important for vacancies that are put out for public policy jobs. So you need to be trained in software such as R, Stata, etc. You need to be fluent in English. You need to have those skills of writing reports, engaging with the government, having proper knowledge of policy analysis. So these are key findings from what we have on the data set on public policy jobs that currently exist. In terms
Okay.
of, yeah, please go
Sorry.
ahead,
Go ahead.
Krishna.
Go ahead, Devyani.
So in terms of the career opportunities, I think Krishna has already touched upon this, that there are opportunities in the not non-profit organizations and profit organizations, research organizations. So you can see that an MPP degree would open up avenues for you in terms of working with organizations like JPAL, Deloitte, consultancy organizations, etc. And basically, it opens a plethora of opportunities for you if you do a master's in public policy degree. So to give you an idea about the MPP degree at NLS, this is a 2-year program that's organized across 6 trimesters, and we have experiential learning components as well. So one of them is the rural immersion, and the other experiential components comprise of internships. We do have contemporary perspectives from social sciences, humanities, multiple research methods as well. We've recently gone through a curriculum review of the MPP program to just keep up with the job market demands and, in general, how policy problems are becoming more complex. So, of course, the USP of the MPP program at the National Law School is that it's bolstered by law related courses because we are housed in a law school, and how law is very important to policy making. We have a couple of law related courses as well. So, students and working professionals with any graduate degree can apply for the MPP program.
Uh,
This is, yes, please go
Devyani, if
ahead.
I can just add a little bit
Sure.
to that idea. So many of you might be wondering, why should you do a MPP at NLS and why not do it either abroad or why not do it in any other institution? This is our understanding as to why we think the MPP NLS program is quite distinctive and singular. If you really want to work in public policy, obviously you need to know a lot about the social economic context, which means you need to know a lot about social sciences, and you need to know a lot about, let's say, techniques or statistical techniques or data science based techniques. And this in fact, almost all public policy programs will tell you that they are multidisciplinary and they combine social sciences and so on. But if you really want to work in public policy, you also need to know a little bit about the law. You don't need to be a lawyer, but it's good to know and understand law. And the reason being the following: if you want to contribute to how the government fulfills its function, it is very important that you have to have evidence-based policy, which basically, in conventional terms, means that you need to know a lot about data. You need to be able to collect, understand, interpret, explain, and communicate this form of data. But data in and of itself is essentially something that tells you how the government acts. It doesn't necessarily tell you how the government thinks. Data is produced after data is collected after almost 2 years. It gives you a sense of its performance. But if you really want to get into the mind of the government, to convince the government to implement a particular intervention, you need to understand how it thinks. And the way the government thinks is essentially through the language of law. It releases regulations, circulars, notifications, and so on and so forth. Of course, acts as well. And that's what is very crucial. If you don't have that particular skill or that particular perspective, you're going to find it very difficult to implement whatever intervention you have in mind. And therefore, having some understanding of law is helpful, along with all the other social science disciplines that come as part of a standard public policy program. I just wanted to share that with you, before we get into the details of the program. All right. Thanks, David.
Sure. So I'll just take you through the admission process and a couple of other major points if you're planning to apply for the MPP degree. So we have the NLSAT, which is a national level examination that takes place for the MPP program, which has two parts, Part A and Part B. Part A has objective type questions comprising 75 marks, and Part B is the more descriptive section of the exam. Um, and yeah, that's what there are two parts to the exam that you'll be undertaking when you write the entrance exam. Part A comprises reading comprehension, critical reasoning, current affairs. So while we do not provide any reading material for the exam, we do encourage potential applicants to read newspapers, do a lot of comprehension. Krishna, if you'd like to add something on this.
No, no, you can go ahead.
All right. And even for the descriptive part, you will be asked to reflect a lot rather than just memorizing things and then writing them. So, with regard to the eligibility for the MPP program, anybody with a bachelor's degree from any recognized national or foreign university can apply for the program. We require an aggregate of at least 45% in the general category and 40% in the other categories. Students who are in the final year of their bachelor's degree can also apply for the MPP program. So the total number of seats is capped at 120, and there is some bit of reservation that you can see on the slide. So, coming to the curriculum, we've recently revised it, keeping in mind that we want the degree to be interdisciplinary, which touches upon social sciences and humanities, law, public policy courses and subjects, and also experiential learning, along with skills like policy communication. So, you'll see all the courses marked in green are related to are related to the discipline of public policy. The courses marked in lavender or mauve are related to law. So you'll see reading legal material, constitutional foundations of the state in India, and regulatory governance. They're related to the discipline of law. The ones marked in orange are related to political science and sociology. And the ones in light orange are related to economics. So we have economics for public policy 1 and 2, which is basically microeconomics and macroeconomics, also along with public finance. And finally, the gray courses are more for skill development, specifically for the policy sectors. So we have data sciences for public policy, policy communications, project management and organizational studies, negotiation and advocacy, research methods, and organizational studies. Apart from that, we do have experiential learning components. So, after the first term in the MPP program, students go out for something called rural immersion and experiential learning, whereby they spend about 3 weeks in villages that are facilitated, and this entire trip is facilitated by grassroots level organizations, and they come and present their findings based on what they have learned related to foundations of public policy or any theories of political science. That's the first bit of the experiential learning. Apart from that, we have 3 internship opportunities that are also compulsory in between all the trimesters. And finally, the last deliverable of this program is that of a written submission, either written submission or you have the flexibility of taking 2 additional electives. So when you submit a written report or a thesis, you have the option of either writing a dissertation, and the dissertation is a 3 trimester long process which is guided by a faculty advisor within the MPP faculty cluster, wherein if you want to take the academic route, then you think of your research question, a topic that you're interested in, and finally you come out with policy recommendations. The other thing that we've recently added in our curriculum is the option of doing a capstone. A capstone project is whereby you work with an organization and try to solve a problem, a policy problem that they are facing. And this requires working with the organization, again, formulating what are the policy problems, using tools of policy analysis that you are taught during the course of the program. And with regular check ins by the organization, you finally submit a report to the organization. In this way, you're exposed to actual real world policy problems and how to solve them. So that's the sort of flexibility now that's inbuilt, and you have the option of choosing either the dissertation or the capstone project, or taking two more electives apart from all the core courses that are listed. We also have electives in trimesters 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Can I just add a word around the electives before we get into this? Um, so while all of us are full-time faculty and we teach the core components of the program, many of our electives are actually offered by practitioners, public policy practitioners from around the country. So these are experts who come and deliver content or courses either within a particular sector or they deepen your skills. But the idea is so that you have more work prepared when you graduate from the program. Just as an example, this trimester, we have someone from the UK who's a global health policy analyst teaching a course on project management. We have the founder of an evaluation organization teaching a course on program evaluation. We have a person who's been the director of Meta teaching something on tech policy. We have also a person who's right now the assistant advocate general teaching a course on electoral and administrative laws. So there are, while we have, and every elective or every trimester, we do invite people to offer courses who are usually people who are working and but who nevertheless find the time to teach a course. Maybe we are hoping that in the upcoming academic year, we might also offer something called an externship. An externship is the ability to work while you are studying. In other words, you do your coursework, but one day of the week, you might be allowed to work in an organization like any other like any other employee. That is still it's in the draft stage, but hopefully in the new academic year we should have that rolled in. I just wanted to add those two things.
Thanks, Krishna. So coming to the academic and student life, the student life at NLS is quite vibrant. We have a lot of in-house journals like the Journal of Law and Public Policy, Indian Journal of Law and Technology. Specific to the MPP program, we've also started something called the Policy Dialogues, where every Wednesday we have a practitioner or somebody from the government or any nonprofit organization coming in and talking to students about their career trajectory and what they find interesting about policy. So we had somebody who used to work, who is working in the policy communications of a very well-known think tank and research organization, kickstart the series of sessions called Policy Dialogues. Apart from that, there's a cultural committee, a sports committee, and there are also film clubs that run at the university. So this is the fee for the MPP program, and it includes housing fees. So as of now, we do not provide housing inside of the campus, but we have we do accommodate students somewhere very close by the campus, and there's a bus that goes to and fro from that place. Coming to financial aid, we do provide financial aid, but that's means based, and that can be a full or a partial tuition waiver, a residential expenses waiver, or a loan interest payments, and in some cases, a stipend as well. You're most welcome to look up the website, and most of the details regarding financial aid can be found on our website. So the last date to apply for the NLSAT, which is the examination, is 23rd March 2026. The examination will take place on 26th April 2026, which is a Sunday. The results will likely be announced towards the end of May, and the classes commence for the next academic year on 1st of July 2026.